Gotta love it, man. We're going to talk a little bit about some UFC upcoming events before we end today's show here. There's a lot of events that are coming up. Some are free, some you got to pay for, but all of them are headlined by some beasts. Of course, first, right off the bat, UFC 210 is not going down this weekend. It's going down April 8th at the KeyBank Center in Buffalo, New York. I know a lot of our listeners are going to be attending that card. And in case you guys don't know who else is on this card, because all you're seeing is DC versus Rumble. Also on this card, Chris Weidman versus Gegard Mousasi. Weidman was the former champ. Remember him beating Silva, beating Vitor Belfort, losing it to Luke Rockhold in that very, very unfortunate fight. That was hard to watch. And then it's come back at UFC 205, wins the first and second round, and then eats a huge knee by Yoel Romero. So he's going up against Gegard Mousasi. This is a fight that I'm surprised is just happening now. I'm kind of scared for Chris in this one. Gegard's coming off a win against Uriah Hall, getting that one back. He's also beat Vitor Belfort, Thiago Santos, Thales. His last loss was to Uriah Hall, and he just got it back. So Gegard's been putting it together, but I think Weidman's going to pull out with the win here. And I think this is a great matchup for Weidman to show everybody that, you know, I did lose to Yoel, but I knew what mistakes I made. I'm going to take out Gegard. But you know what? Chris is on a 2-fight losing streak, and that's scary to see, because now if he loses this one against Gegard, that really stuffs him down. You know, his last win was back in 2015 at UFC, I think it was 188 or 186, 187. One of those, he fought Vitor. Before that, beating Lyoto. He beat Silva twice, you know, sealing his championship there. I'll never forget that fight. If you've never seen the Anderson Silva versus Chris Weidman fight 2 or 1, the first moment when Silva got stuffed with that flurry of punches as he was trying to avoid, like he was still in the Matrix, and gets clipped, no one could believe that somebody actually finished Anderson Silva. And then he came back, we're like, all right, yeah, he's going to get his shit together, he's going to come back, and he snaps his leg in half. Literally in half. If you've never seen it, go check that out. I always say that to a lot of the new listeners of Pure EVil MMA. There's a lot of fights that I would recommend you guys going back. If you need a list, just use hashtag Pure EVil MMA. Ask us, or at Pure EVil MMA, what fight should I check out? And I'll give you a great list that the Pure EVil MMA community would recommend. Also in UFC 210, the return of Cynthia Cavallo. She's coming off that win against ABC Amanda Bobby Cooper back in March. That was her first win, a huge one for her as well. She's going up against 6-1 Pearl Gonzalez, which I don't really know much about. I'm going to do a complete breakdown for that. Also returning on the UFC 210 card, Patrick Cote, who hasn't fought since I think the beginning of last year against Cowboy. And that was when Cowboy lost to RDA. You know, he was trying to make a comeback to fight Patrick Cote. And we've seen Patrick knock dudes out before in the past. So this is going to be an interesting fight for him. You know, last time he fought was in June, actually. He's beat Joshua Berkman. He's beat Joe Riggs. He's been on here before. His last loss was to Stephen Thompson back in 2014. And then to Cowboy. So it's all top competition. You know that's going to be a good one. Also on this card, Oliveira versus Ill Will Brooks. UFC 210 is absolutely stacked. Oliveira's a submission artist. I think last time he fought, he got submitted by Anthony Pettis. I believe that was his last fight. Or no, his last fight was against Ricardo Lamas, which he actually lost that fight as well, which is surprising because Oliveira is a submission artist. At one point, the fans were siding with Oliveira to beat Max Holloway, and then something weird happened in their fight. He like sprained his ankle or something, and he has his hands full with Ill Will Brooks as well. I can't wait to be breaking this down. I'm going to be doing it on the podcast and also on our Facebook page. Last time Will Brooks won was against Ross Pearson back in July. You know, he fought for Bellator. So you guys know who Ill Will Brooks is. I don't think I got to give much of an introductory to the champ. Also on UFC 210, a couple of guys that we just had on here a couple of weeks ago. Shane Burgos versus Charles Rosa. Both guys are going up against each other. I interviewed both of them on the last couple of episodes of Pure EVil MMA. I don't remember exactly what episode. It was probably 37 and 38, I believe, about 2 weeks ago. I'll be re-airing them as well. You can find them on our Facebook, our YouTube page, and right here on iTunes and Podbean.com. We also spoke to Desmond Green, who's going to be making his UFC debut at UFC 210. He's going to be going up against undefeated Josh Emmett, who's an amazing wrestler. He's coming off a couple of wins here in the UFC. The John Tuck and to Holtzman back in December. So we're going to see what Josh Emmett can do here. Amazing with grappling. He's mentally tough. He's got amazing cardio. And he's explosive in every fight. Desmond Green's also a young kid. We did a great interview with him. So you got to check that out also on the YouTube page. And then Caitlin Chukagian is back at it, going up against Irene Aldana, who's actually coming off a loss. I think you guys might remember her from the last fight that she had against Leslie Smith in December where she lost. So there's a quick preview for UFC 210. Also, fights that you can look forward to live on FS1, live on Fox. Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson looking to break the record book, or tie Anderson Silva for most title defenses as he faces Wilson Reis. And this is a fight that was supposed to happen at the beginning of last year, I'm pretty sure. I obviously am seeing Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson taking this fight. He's just been stuffing everybody. That fight against Cejudo was absolutely amazing. That last fight against Tim Elliott, where he found himself in some trouble in the first round with the submission, was able to get the win over Tim. Before that, beating Henry Cejudo, beating John Dodson in that rematch. The only fight that I can discredit Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson on, that I really thought he lost, was against our boy Ian McCall, Mr. Uncle Creepy. Also on this card, Jacare Souza versus Robert Whittaker. That's going to be an exciting one to see as well. Jeremy Stevens is also on this card against Maciano. Big Roy Nelson is going up against Volkov. Nelson's not on the top 15 anymore, guys. So, he definitely needs this win. That would be a fun one. And Tim Elliott is making his return as well on this card against Lou Samoka, who's coming off a loss to another tough veteran that was on the same season. Cummins versus Coy is on this as well. And then we got Artem Lobov against Cub Swanson going down April 22nd. So the Mighty Mouse Johnson, that's April 15th. And then we have live on FS1, Cub Swanson versus Artem Lobov. Past that, UFC 211, Stipe Miocic versus JDS. That's my favorite card of the year, I think, so far. And we still got some time in between. There's a lot of fights that, could definitely fall out. People can get injured. Let's cross our fingers. Also on this card, you got Joanna Jędrzejczyk against Jessica Andrade. Damian Maia versus Jorge Masvidal. Eddie Alvarez versus Dustin the Diamond Poirier. Henry Cejudo versus Sergio Pettis. Frankie Edgar versus Yair Rodriguez. James Vick versus Wilson Hayes. Marco Polo Hayes. You got Chaz Skelly against Knight. Skelly's been on Pure EVil MMA before in the past. Let's try to get him back on, before this fight. Also, Jotko is on this card. Guess who he's going to be fighting? From the World Series of Fighting. Last time I went to World Series of Fighting at Madison Square Garden, got to see David Branch go in there. 20-3 with determination, technique, and power. David Branch to make his UFC debut. The last time he was in the UFC, he lost in 2011. He actually has 4 UFC fights, and he's 2 for 2. Or 2 out of 4, I should say, if that makes it clear. So here he goes up against Jocko, who's ranked 10th. So Branch trying to make his way in the division. And then live on FS1, May 28th, Alexander Gustafsson against Glover Teixeira. And then UFC 212, Aldo Holloway. And then this was just announced. June 10th, Derek Lewis against Mark Hunt. What do you guys think about that? I'm just seeing that now. So let me know what you think about that on Twitter at Pure EVil MMA, Facebook, and Instagram. Well, that gets us to the end of our show, episode 41 of Pure EVil MMA. I want to thank all of our listeners out there. Make sure you guys subscribe down below. Give us 5 stars. It will help us so much. And next week, we have some announcements for a giveaway that I promised with Rick Glenn. I want to thank Jake Lindsay, Aaron Highfill, Colton Cole, of course, Chandler Cole as well, and Mike Danella as our guest today. Thank you so much. I'm Evil Eddie from Pure EVil MMA, frontproofmedia.com. Make sure to tune in next week where we have another stack show. Make sure you guys behave yourselves and enjoy the day. Behave yourselves.